Nintendo's 2020 up until the month of March had an unsteady start to say the least. But with releases like Pokemon Rescue Team DX and Animal Crossing New Horizons in March, fans have finally been treated to some major first-party games to play this year. But even just a couple of weeks ago, Nintendo's outlook for the rest of 2020 seemed bleak without much major releasing in it. It really seemed like there wasn't going to be much coming out. That was one of the main reasons that I made a predictions video, and what do you know, soon after that we got a Direct Mini, and then the week after we got some major Mario rumors that I'm going to be talking about today. I held off on making this video for a while because I wanted to make sure we got all the details, and thank goodness I did, because new information has emerged to give us even greater insight into what we're specifically going to be getting into here. Today I'll be analyzing the news of the Direct Mini, such as the next Super Smash Bros. Fighter, and the major rumors of many new Mario games coming to the Nintendo Switch. And if all of this comes to fruition, will it be able to salvage Nintendo's 2020 and turn it into one of the best years of the Nintendo Switch? That's what we're going to be trying to find out in this video. Much of the information that I'm going to be going over today is still technically in the rumor phase, but these come from some very reliable sources which I doubt would risk their good reputation just for the sake of providing people with an inaccurate rumor. Since I'm sure that most of you are here for the new details on the Mario rumors, I'll begin with those. These rumors mainly stem from Gamemitsu and Eurogamer, which, when you put the information collectively together, states that remasters of Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy are coming to the Switch in a collection of sorts, akin to the Super Mario All-Stars collections that we got on previous consoles. In addition, Mario 3D World is also apparently getting the deluxe treatment with new levels being added in. And if for some reason that wasn't enough for you, we're getting a new Paper Mario game that represents a return to form for the series, meaning that it will play like the beloved N64 and GameCube entries. This is insane, and at first glance seems too good to be true. But if you're still not convinced, let me bring you back to the Emily Rogers rumor that I talked about a couple weeks ago, before these rumors even came out. This one said that it's a good year to be a plumber, which these rumors obviously make it out to be, but it's also a solid year to be an RPG fan. And with Xenoblade Chronicles Remastered, Bravely Default 2, new Sword and Shield content, and a new Paper Mario game rumored to be coming out, it certainly seems like that part of her statement is correct. And to top it all off, she also said it's an insane year to replay old games. And with 4 older 3D Mario games coming to the Switch, along with the aforementioned Xenoblade and Rescue Team remasters, it certainly seems like it. And even if these reports don't convince you, let's use a little bit of common sense here. Why would Nintendo want to load up their holiday season with a ton of Mario releases this year? I don't know, how about the fact that the new PlayStation and Xbox consoles are coming out later this year? Seems like it would make some sense for Nintendo to want to try and take some attention away from potential competition with their biggest exclusive franchise. Now that I think we've established that these rumors are credible, let's unpack all of this. Let's start with the 3 Mario remasters. So far we're hearing, as I mentioned, 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy are going to be coming to the Switch. For fans of Galaxy 2, I don't really know what to tell you. So far we haven't heard anything about it being included. From various reports it appears that these won't just be straight up ports of these games either, and will actually be upscaled to HD, which would be amazing for Mario 64 and Sunshine, which we haven't seen looking the best that they can, unlike Galaxy, which still looks beautiful to this day. Seriously, they don't have to change too much with it. About each title specifically, I really wonder about Mario 64, and whether or not they're going to carry over some of the features from Mario 64 DS, considering that Mario 64 has already technically had a remake. The 2 main new features added into this DS remake were new characters, which each have different abilities that they can utilize to make them unique from one another, and a ton of interesting mini-games that utilize the DS screen. Now, it doesn't seem too likely that these are going to come back, as much as I really hope that they do, because they were fun distractions, but the new characters coming back, I see some conflict within the community about this, but that was one of my favorite features about Mario 64 DS, and I'd love to see the multiple characters return. I could honestly see Nintendo going either way with this, but I think if they're going to remaster the original Mario 64 and try to capture the feel of that game, they'll probably have it just with Mario. Maybe the best case scenario is they give you an option of which style you would like to play, because that way it would appease people from both sides of the argument, but that's just how I feel about it. In terms of Mario Sunshine changes that I'd like to see, I definitely want the physics and the glitches of the game to be fixed up, and if those, which are 2 of the biggest problems with Mario Sunshine in my opinion, if those are changed, then I could definitely see Sunshine shining as one of the best games in this collection. In terms of Mario Galaxy, there's not too much to change, but I definitely want to point out that this is a great time for Nintendo to capitalize on the Switch's Joy-Con technology. As I've mentioned in previous videos, it works so seamlessly to transition the Wii Remote to the Joy-Con and have that be your pointer controls from Mario Galaxy. They don't even really have to change the control scheme too much. And because of how well I think this fits, especially if Galaxy 2 is included in this collection, which we don't know yet, this could potentially lead to a Galaxy 3 in the future, which I think would be amazing. Let's move on to Super Mario 3D World now. This was definitely a fun level-based 3D Mario game, and it's the most recent one to have come out prior to Odyssey. This was one of the biggest heavy hitters on the Wii U, and it makes sense as to why Nintendo wouldn't want to combo it in with these older 3D Mario games in the collection, and would rather give it the deluxe treatment to sell it on its own for full price. There's going to be new levels included in Super Mario 3D World, and I think this would be akin to the treatment that Captain Toad got. The other three 3D Marios are more single-player focused, whereas 3D World would be good for a multiplayer experience, and with these new levels, this could definitely be a fun thing for people to go through if they haven't played 3D World before. But for people who have already played it, it doesn't seem like something that would be too good for them, unless they just desperately want to play the new levels that are included. But obviously, we won't be able to tell this for sure until this actually gets announced. Moving on to the new Paper Mario game, and this would be huge, considering that fans have been asking for a return to form for the series for so long, and this would actually be a new game, unlike the various ports and remasters that I've been talking about. Those games, while exciting for nostalgia, might piss off some people who just want to play new stuff. And Paper Mario coming out, but being a return to the original style, classifies as a new thing that a lot of people would really want to see. But you guys better go out and buy this game to show Nintendo that you want it, because this is a very similar situation to the Metroid fanbase clamoring for Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo likely stopped making them because the development resources weren't worth it compared to the sales that the game was generating. You better go out and buy this to justify to Nintendo that the change was worthwhile to go back to the original style that they abandoned because they felt that people weren't as interested in it and they wanted to diversify the Paper Mario series. And if this game isn't supported, and since Mario and Luigi probably isn't hanging around anymore after Alpha Dream's bankruptcy, that could potentially be the end for Mario RPGs, which is something that I'm sure many people would not want to see, including myself. Now, I mentioned Metroid, and this is because there may also be a 2D Metroid game coming out this year if Paper Mario coming out holds true, considering that a previous rumor that I talked about that mentioned a return to form for Paper Mario also mentioned that a 2D Metroid in the vein of Metroid Fusion would be coming out this year. I'm going to touch a little bit more on the impact of all of these rumors for this year later on in the video, but what I want to do right now is touch on some of the Nintendo news that actually is confirmed. While most of the Direct Mini a couple of weeks ago was just updates on some more minor titles, and a few of the confirmed major ones like Xenoblade and Bravely Default 2, there is one large aspect of the Direct that I've yet to touch on in a video, and this being the new Super Smash Bros. Fighter. It's been confirmed that an ARMS character is coming to Smash, and yes, this is the first time in history that a character's series has been revealed without the character specifically, and this reveal has generated a lot of controversy because a lot of people just aren't as hyped about it, considering that they maybe haven't played ARMS or didn't enjoy ARMS, don't know too much about the game, etc, etc. I had doubted for a long time the idea of an ARMS character coming to Smash, especially if it wasn't going to be in the first Fighter Pass, because I didn't believe the game performed financially as well as Nintendo was expecting or wanting it to, which was likely close to or around the Splatoon levels. It didn't even get there, but it did sell over a couple million units, which is very good for a new IP. It's really good. It sold more than any game in the Xenoblade series, and that series is continuing, so why wouldn't ARMS get a sequel in the future or representation in Smash like Xenoblade did? I feel it is justified to have an ARMS character included in the game, but who is this character going to be? One thing that I'd like to point out is I don't think that it's going to be Springman, because I feel that Nintendo would have gone out of their way to announce Springman as a character rather than announcing it like this. And now that they're revealing it in this way that we're allowed to speculate about which character from the cast it's going to be, I think it would be kind of a disappointment if it's revealed that it's Springman. I would kind of like it to be Springman for one specific reason though, because that would then open up the possibility for other assist trophies like Waluigi, for example, to become playable fighters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate while also being an assist trophy. Same goes for Ribbon Girl, Ninjara, Twintelle, and Min Min, who are all currently spirits in Smash Ultimate, and if one of them is confirmed as a fighter, then we would open up the possibility for other spirits who are already in the game to become fighters, and deconfirm any fan theorization that spirits would potentially deconfirm a character's eligibility for a fighter slot. Min Min is probably the most likely option in my opinion. This would be a character who classifies as a spirit in the game, but if you're going to ignore the possibility of all spirits and assist trophies becoming fighters, then from the rest, I don't think it's going to be a DLC character, so I'd probably go with Helix. Helix is a very unique character aesthetically and represents the ARMS gameplay well while not strafing too far away like Bite and Bark, for example, which don't fully represent what ARMS is because they represent a little too much. So Helix would probably be my pick as as a character who's not a spirit, but if we're including spirits and assist trophies in this, Min Min or Twintail I think is by far the most likely character to become a fighter in the game. They both represent the ARMS gameplay very nicely while having somewhat unique aspects to themselves, but not too far so that they don't accurately represent what a typical ARMS character can do in the game. And with this ARMS character coming to Smash, maybe that's a hint for an ARMS 2 potentially releasing in the future. But if all of the massive rumors that I was talking about hold true, I doubt that would be coming out this year. Speaking of all those games releasing this year, why didn't Nintendo announce them in this Direct Mini alongside the ARMS fighter? Seems to make some sense at first glance why Nintendo could have potentially announced these, because there wasn't too much spotlight on anything else, and then that would be putting some spotlight on some major titles that are likely releasing this holiday. But maybe Nintendo is waiting to do a blowout major direct in May or June, so that it will be closer to the time that these Mario games will actually release, be closer to the time that the ARMS representative gets released, and it will also likely be closer to the time when the major situation in the world right now gets controlled. But who knows? With all of these games rumored to be coming out and the potential significance of an ARMS character's inclusion resulting in a new game, will it allow Nintendo to salvage this year that didn't seem too promising, other than a couple of major titles like Animal Crossing, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and Xenoblade Chronicles, for example? In my opinion, absolutely. To a big fan of 3D Mario games and Mario RPGs, these games would make for a fantastic holiday season to me. Do we likely still need some support for other franchises to fill out the lineup and make it more balanced? Absolutely. Is this relying a bit too heavily on older releases instead of making new ones? Absolutely. But damn it, these are some of the games that I have the fondest memories of playing, and I can't help but be excited for their re-release. Nintendo could end up turning this year into one of the best ones we've ever had for the Switch, especially if we get Breath of the Wild 2 this holiday as well, which would even allow it to compete with the launch year in terms of the staggering amount of major releases. Imagine a year with 4 beloved 3D Mario games, a darker Breath of the Wild, a new but traditional Paper Mario, DLC for 2 major main series Pokemon games, a new Animal Crossing, many new characters joining the battle in Smash, and even more games that people will love. It's a recipe for greatness, and I really look forward to seeing how it actually ends up turning out. And if you are interested in seeing how I believe this year is going to turn out month by month, I'd encourage you to check out my video predicting Nintendo's 2020 that's linked on the screen right now. Consider subscribing or becoming a channel member if you're interested in that for more content coming soon, and I'll see you next time.